All right, well today we're going to be writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So let's go ahead and get started here. It's assignment number 10. It says write an equation of a line that is parallel to the given line that goes through the given point. So the first thing we have to determine is what is the slope of this line. And we know because it's in slope-intercept form that the slope here is a half. And so we want to write an equation of a line that also has a slope of a half because we know that parallel lines have the same slope. And so we also want it to go through this point. And so we're going to use the point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And we're going to have y minus the 1 because 1 is the y value. That equals the slope, which is a half, times x plus 4 because it's x minus a negative 4. And so we can write that as x plus 4. And so we want this in slope-intercept form. So we're going to distribute the 1/2 first, which means we're going to have y minus 1 equals 1/2 x, and then 1/2 times 4 is 2. And if I add 1 to both sides, then I'll have y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And that is an example there of something that is parallel to this line. They have the same slope. Both of them are a half. And this line here goes through the point negative 4, 1. Let's try another example here. Here we want to write an equation of a line that is perpendicular to the given line that goes through the given point. And so we need to figure out what is the slope of this line. And in order to figure out what the slope of that line is, we have to get it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, because then we will know what the slope is. So I'm going to get this y here by itself. And so I'm going to start by subtracting 3x from both sides. So we'll have negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 6. But I want to get the y by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. And when I do that, I'll have y equals 3/2 x, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's 3/2 x, and then a positive 6 divided by a negative 2 is negative 3. So the slope of this line is 3/2. But we want something that's perpendicular to that, and so we want the slope of our line to have a slope that's the opposite reciprocal of 3/2, which is negative 2/3. And we want it to go through this point. So again, we're going to use the point slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to plug in the values here. It's going to be y minus my y value, which is 1. That equals the slope, which is negative 2/3, times x minus my x value, which is 3. And so I'll have y minus 1 equals, if I distribute my negative 2/3, I'll have negative 2/3 x, and negative 2/3 times negative 3, well that's a negative times a negative, so it's positive. The 3's would cancel each other out, and I would have a positive 2. Or I could think about it as multiplying by the top and dividing by the bottom. Either way I get a positive 2. But then I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to get rid of the subtracting 1 by adding 1 to both sides. So we'll have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. So let's go to our next example here. Example number 3, we want to write an equation of a line that is parallel to the given line that goes through the given point. And so again, we need to figure out what is the slope of this line, which we need to write it in slope-intercept form. And so I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. So we'll get 2y equals negative 4x plus 10. And if I divide everything by 2, then we'll have y by itself. And it'll be negative 2x plus 5. And so, because negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So the slope of this line is negative 2. And because we want to write an equation of a line parallel to it, our slope is also going to be negative 2. So to write an equation of a line with a slope and a point, we're going to use the point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals the slope, which is m, times x minus x1. So we're going to have y minus 5 equals the slope, which is negative 2, times x plus 2, because it's minus negative 2 for the x value. So that means we're going to have y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 4, because negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. And then to get rid of the subtracting 5, we're going to add 5 to both sides. So we'll have y equals negative 2x plus 1. And that is an example of a line that is parallel to this line, but goes through this point here. That's what the goal is for today. Good luck on your homework assignment, and we will go over questions tomorrow.